Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the 2026 Ride Weekend Orientation. It is hard to believe that Ride Weekend is just 2 weeks away when we'll gather with the community on Friday, July 31st for opening ceremony. I am Carolyn Applehans, Director of Community Engagement, and with me is
Lauren Graham, Director of Event Operations.
We are going to get started. I know we had about 700 people register for this year's Ride Weekend Orientation, which is absolutely amazing. We've had an overwhelming response to Ride Weekend in general, and we can't wait to celebrate with the community. First and foremost, we want to thank you guys for joining us for Ride Weekend. If it's your first time, incredible. Please give yourself a big pat on the back. It's amazing that you've joined for Pelotonia. Joining for the first time, it can always be scary, so thank you for taking that leap. We know you'll have an amazing experience, and most importantly, thank you for joining us for Ride Weekend and raising critical funds for cancer research. With that, we're going to jump into it. As I mentioned, there's a lot of people that have joined, so we'll give you an overview of what you can expect through this presentation. As a reminder, I know our colleague Eva put this in the notes. We will be sharing this presentation out afterwards, as well as a recording. This will have a lot of links to helpful things as well, so don't feel like you have to take notes. We'll also do a Q&A at the end, so we're going to try to get through this as quickly as we can to make sure we have enough time. Please feel free to put your questions into the Q&A, and we'll get to those at the end. But here's what we have on the docket for today. We're going to help you prepare for Ride Weekend in the next 2 weeks. We'll talk through opening ceremony. We will talk through your credential and bike plate, what the start of your ride will look like, what it will look like when you're on the road, all the way through the finish line celebration to spectator information, and then we'll end it with some pro tips and again, Q&A from there. So I'm going to hand things over to Lauren, and she's going to get us started.
Awesome. Great to see everybody virtually today. I almost said this morning, it's already noon, but we're so excited to welcome everybody to Ride Weekend in a couple weeks, and just going to touch on a few things that hopefully you've already been doing to prepare and continue to do over the next couple weeks. So we want to remind everybody hydration and fueling and how important this is, being prepared for Ride Weekend. So first of all, staying hydrated. It's no secret that it has been very toasty here in Central Ohio. We're getting this smoke out of the way this weekend, so we don't have this in a couple weeks as well, hopefully. But stay hydrated. So that includes during your ride is the obvious part of when you're doing that, but leading up to the ride as well. And of course, after. Wear sunscreen, protect your skin. It's going to most likely be sunny and toasty out there for end of July, early August, so be prepared in that way. Pace yourself. So this is super important as you're doing your ride. Remember, we're a ride, not a race, and so there is no rush to the finish line. We'll talk about a few parameters as far as timing, but we always want you to pace yourself. Take your time, enjoy the ride. Take breaks, take advantage of all of our rest stops, which we'll talk a little bit about here in a little bit as well. Dress lightly. So again, probably no secret to everybody that's been surviving this Ohio heat this summer already, but light colored clothing, lightweight clothing. We'll talk a little bit about maybe some cycling gear that you may have and want to wear that's really helpful in this way to keep you cool. And then just knowing the risks. We will have medical staff across the weekend available, but knowing how your body reacts and kind of what the things are that you should be aware of for heat-related illness, for any other issues that you may experience, and knowing when to stop and when you need a break, when you need to get some hydration. So lots of good resources for that as well on our website. We'll talk about resources at the end as well, but I'll just think good things to keep in mind as you're preparing for your ride. Along the way, so rider safety reminders. We always want to be very clear, make this reminder that we are a rules of the road ride, which say that 10 times fast, which means that roads are not completely closed. And so being aware of things that are happening around you, following traffic signals, being sure that you're only riding 2 riders across, don't ride left of center, and using hand signals. All of these things are really important to be sure that you are coexisting with not only your fellow cyclists, but also potential vehicle traffic along the way. Super important. We'll have lots of public safety out there, lots of personnel helping to keep everybody safe, but also, want to rely on all of our riders to be sure that they're behaving and riding in a way that keeps everybody safe as well. So all good things to know. Again, a lot more in-depth kind of safety information that we'll talk about in terms of our resources that you can find on our website. All good things to be sure to review before ride weekend. A few other components of riding safe. So being aware, just aware of what is happening around you. And again, this is in terms of other cyclists. Obviously, you don't want to be riding too close to your friends and neighbors on the road on other bikes, but also vehicles, paying attention to the roadway in front of you. We have really awesome partnerships and relationships with all of our county engineers and all those kind of folks that do their best to make the roads be the best possible condition for ride weekend. But you could come across a pothole, you could come across a crack in the road. Just being aware of all of those things to keep yourself safe along the way. Being predictable is really important as well, to make sure that your fellow riders can be aware of what you're doing. Don't make sudden turns, don't jerk around on the road, all those kind of things. Being really predictable about your movements so that you're keeping everybody around you safe as well. Being visible, this kind of taps into what we talked about on that first slide about what you're wearing on your ride. So reflective clothing, bright colored clothing, all those kind of things are really helpful. We don't require bike lights or anything like that, but some people choose to use those to make themselves even more visible along the way. Anything along those lines is really helpful. And being prepared. So knowing all these things that we're talking about now, reviewing, we have a really great resource, the Safety and Training Handbook, reviewing that in advance, just being really prepared for all of those things, as well as being prepared if something does happen along the way. So knowing what your resources are, everybody will have the Command Center phone line, which is staffed throughout ride weekend. That phone number will be on your rider wristband, so you've got it with you along the way. You can always call that for some help. But being prepared if you get a flat tire, being able to change that yourself will get you on the road even faster. So having those materials that you need and being prepared to do that on your own is an even bigger plus. All the essential ride items that we want to be sure you have with you. So there's a few obvious ones on here that hopefully everybody's already prepared to bring. Have at least one water bottle. Some people, depending on your distance, may choose to have multiple, maybe some different options, some water and some electrolytes. Have whatever nutrition makes sense for you. So we will have fully stocked, fully supported rest stops that have plenty of amazing snacks and nutrition. But if you've been training with something specific, bring that with you. We obviously can't know what all 8,000 of you specifically are training with. And so if you've been using a specific product that's really been beneficial to you, please be sure to bring that with you. The one most important thing is bring your helmet. We will not let anyone start the ride without a helmet. So be sure you've got that with you. Be sure you're prepped there. Like I mentioned, lights and mirrors not required, but a lot of people like to have these items additionally on their bike for safety and for visibility. Sunscreen is super important. We will also have this available at all of our rest stops, but be sure to apply first thing in the morning and reapply throughout the day. We recommend sunglasses. Hopefully we'll have a nice 70-degree sunny Ohio Saturday and Sunday, and you'll need your sunglasses out there. Have your cell phone with you. We also recommend, especially for longer rides, to have an external battery that you can keep your cell phone charged so that you do have that available if you need to call the command center or need to call anyone for assistance along the way. Your rider credentials. So Carolyn will talk in a little bit about what all that means and what the rider credential really does for you, but be sure you've got the right pieces of that with you. Your team jersey. Most teams, if you're part of a Peloton, will have a team jersey that either you get or you can purchase. We also have Pelotonia jerseys if that's something you're interested in. I also just want to call out a jersey is by no means required. You can wear a t-shirt, you can wear whatever you're comfortable in, just being prepared to be comfortable on your bike for the day. And then lastly, similar to what I just mentioned about being prepared, having a few basic bike supplies and tools with you so that if you get a flat, you can replace your tube. There's really good resources on our website, really quick video that shows, how to replace a tube pretty easily. Being prepared with that stuff will get you on the road faster. We've obviously got resources that can help with that along the way, but there's 8,000 of you and not quite that many resources out there. So it can take some time, especially in the early stages of the ride when everybody's on the road. last but not least, I think in this section for preparation is we just want to familiarize everyone with kind of the accessibility accommodations that are available throughout Ride Weekend. So every venue, from opening ceremony to all of our start and finish venues, will have accessible parking and restrooms available, whether that's for you, whether that's for guests you may have joining you. Those things will be available across the board. We also have a lot of visual and auditory accommodations that have kind of increased over the past few years as we try and really make sure Pelotonia Ride Weekend is accessible to everyone. So our signage really uses contrasting colors so that those hopefully pop out to everybody. We use closed captioning as well as ASL interpreters at opening ceremony for our program content. And the start waves that we'll talk about in a little bit, those are shown by color, but also written out in text for anybody that may have need that visual accommodation as well. And then last on here, lactation. So anybody that is a parent that may need lactation support, we do have several things available in this regard. There's a form on our website, which we will also share the link to, if anybody needs a pump transported. So if you are a lactating parent and need that support along the way, we can transport that from your start to your finish. We just need you to fill out that form by next Friday. So that's available, as well as lactation areas at all of our starts and finishes and opening ceremony. So kind of private areas where parents can go if that's support that's needed as well. So lots more, again, information. I keep saying this, lots more information on the website as far as accessibility, but again, familiarize yourself with anything there that you may need. I think I'm going to pass it over to Carolyn for
Maybe
our next section. Maybe.
Awesome. As that gets pulled up, you'll notice that Lauren goes through a lot of logistics. I go through a lot of the party aspects of Ride Weekend. So to kick that off is opening ceremony. First and foremost is parking. This is a big question that we get leading into Ride Weekend. We have a parking pass for both riders and your guests for Friday, as well as volunteers that are joining us on Friday. It is one pass this year. If you join us in years past as either or, you notice there's probably two different passes. This year we consolidated down to one. There are a couple events happening. Really the key other one conflicting with Ride Weekend opening ceremony is a Clippers event. So just plan accordingly, arrive early. There will just be some normal downtown traffic, but the earlier you plan ahead, the easier it will be for you to get downtown if you're coming from some of the suburbs of Columbus. You'll see on the pass all the spots that are available. We'll send this out to everybody leading into Ride Weekend. Encourage you to download that or print that in advance of opening ceremony so you have it ready to go. Now for opening ceremony itself, you can see on the left-hand side is all of the timeline for the day, as well as a map on the right hand. I'm going to talk through all of this one by one, spot by spot, kind of walk you through what opening ceremony will look like for you. A couple call outs before I do. Things will officially kick off at 11:30 a.m. We will have rider check-in and gift distribution available. You can start to bring down your bike, and merch will also be available starting at 11 a.m. The gates to opening ceremony itself won't start and open until 4 p.m. So just a call out there if you want to come down a little bit early, get checked in, get your swag bag for the year, maybe drop off your bike, get a preview of all the merch before everybody else does. You are more than welcome to do so starting at 11:30 a.m. And first up, we're just kind of, again, I'm going to walk you through what everything looks like from the start to the finish of opening ceremony. Lauren mentioned the team jerseys. This is such a fun thing of the Pelotonia community. There are more than 400 teams that make up Pelotonia. A lot of them here in Central Ohio, a lot of them coming from all over the country, and even some coming from abroad as well. One of our new favorite parts of opening ceremony is at Jersey Field. Check it out when you walk in, take a picture with your team's jersey. Just really see all the really creative jerseys that are out there and help kind of familiarize yourself before you're riding on Saturday and Sunday too. I mentioned merch. This is a lot of people's favorite thing. I feel like we sell out like a popular concert we do nowadays, but we have merch at opening ceremony as well as the finish line. So if you get there a little bit later, something might be sold out. Don't worry, it will be hopefully at your finish line as well. But we'll have a lot of new merch dropping soon for Ride Weekend specifically. So stay tuned for some previews on our social media and definitely check out the tent as well. We mentioned rider credentials and checking in. So this will want to be the really first thing you want to do as a rider, as there's some key information. And again, that will open at 11:30 a.m. And it will go until 8 p.m. If you aren't able to join us for some reason on Friday, you are able to have a friend or a teammate pick up your rider credential and pick up your rider gift bag for you. If that doesn't work for you, we do have late rider check-in on Saturday and Sunday before the respective rides. If you're using that, please arrive early. Make sure you have ample time to get checked in, get everything situated. And if you're using that, just note that we won't have rider gift bags on Saturday and Sunday. You'll need to coordinate with our team, come into the Pelotonia HQ after ride weekend to pick up that gift for you specifically. But here's what your rider credential looks like. You're gonna get a packet. It's gonna have your credential as well as a bike plate in it, and I'll talk about that too. But just a quick overview of your rider credential and some really key pieces that you'll need throughout the weekend. The first being your rider ID bracelet. This is huge. All riders must put this on immediately once you get on site. This is actually your entrance into opening ceremony for yourself. Also really key to have on ride weekend throughout your ride and must be worn. Lauren mentioned our support line. That number is actually directly on this wristband. So if you need it, you easily have that available for you. The second piece is the guest wristband. All riders receive one guest ticket to opening ceremony. You'll just rip off this wristband, hand that to your guest. If they're arriving later, just meet them at the gate and you can hand that off to them. You can enter and exit freely too, so you're able to kind of meet them later. If you register as a high roller, you'll have actually 2 additional guest tickets, so 3 in total into your rider gift bag, just to call out there too. The third piece is your luggage tag. So all riders are able to leave luggage at their start line. That would be if you're doing one of the loop options. We have 2 this year now, the 17 mile or the 27 on Sunday. That will actually just stay there for you. It will be secure with our volunteers and ready for you at the finish line. If you are going one of our point-to-point routes, you'll want to drop that off at your start line and that will be brought to the finish line for you. So if you want to change of clothes, you probably get a little sweaty while you're out there. Everyone does. You'll have a change of clothes for you waiting at the finish line, and that tag must be put onto your bag in order for the volunteers to know, 1, that it's your bag, but then also 2, to make sure it gets to the right spot. And then the fourth piece is a seat post. This will go right on the post of your bike. Awesome to be able to shout people out, can kind of make really great conversations with other riders out there, see how long they've been riding, see if they're a survivor or a high roller. Again, just a really cool piece to start to make some more connectivity within the Pelotonia community. And then the bike plate. This is something that we added in probably about 4 years ago. This has allowed us to start to track riders for family and friends and loved ones while you're out on the course, and we'll talk about that here in a little bit as well. Again, this will be in your rider credential bag. You will also receive 2 zip ties, so you can easily put that onto the front handlebars, just like it's shown on the back of the bike plate there. Volunteers will be on site to help you too, but just really key that it's placed correctly so that it's able to work correctly for you throughout ride weekend too. And a call out, if you've been riding with us for a handful of years, please make sure you remove your previous year's bike plate. I know it's awesome to display, but it's caused a little bit of issues and some people showing up on incorrect routes because of past year's RFIDs there. So just a call out, if you can please remove that before ride weekend, and then make sure only your current year bike plate is on the front of that bike too. Once you're checked in, you're gonna pick up your exclusive rider gift bag. So this is always a fun part. I'm surprised I haven't had more people ask me. Typically I do, of what does this year's shirt look like? I honestly don't even know, so I'm not just lying to you. That is always a fun surprise for everybody on ride weekend, but you'll check in, get your rider gift bag, check out that swag, and then wear that with pride too. Just to call out as well, we don't allow exchanges on site, just to make sure we have everything in stock available for all riders. So if you want to change your size, you can do so on your participant profile right now. If you decide after ride weekend you need to exchange it, reach out to our team and we can help you with that. And then I mentioned this earlier, you see a lot of bikes in that picture. You're able to drop off your bike with us on Friday if you are starting from McPherson Commons on Saturday. This is by no means something that you have to do, but a lot of people find that it is helpful just to drop it off on Friday. One last logistical thing on Saturday. We'll have mechanics on site if you need any kind of last minute support there, both on Friday and Saturday. So if logistically it works better for you on Saturday, feel free to bring it on Saturday. If you think you need mechanical support, make sure you arrive early so that they have ample time to help you make sure you get out on your start time as well. A call out if you are renting a bike through Unlimited Biking. This is actually where you will go immediately after you check in as well to get set up with your Unlimited bike. Be on the lookout for a separate email from Unlimited Biking directly that will share a lot of that check-in information with you. All right, and then Spirit Station. So again, I mentioned gates will not open until 4 p.m. All of the things I'm about to share are all things that are going to be behind the gates of opening ceremony. And that starts with the Spirit Station and Kids Zone. So kids are welcome. Kids 5 and under are absolutely able to join us for opening ceremony without the need of a ticket. So we've added some fun things to get them excited about Ride Weekend. Unfortunately, that does include sugaring up your kids, as you can see in that picture. So sorry about that, but some fun activities for them. And then a Spirit Station. We know so many people rush home after opening ceremony to start to add really personal things to their jersey to highlight why they're riding. So we wanted to bring a little bit of that to opening ceremony so that you're able to spend more time with us and spend more time with the community on Friday. So lots of things to personalize your jersey again, share why you're riding, and really highlight that at the Spirit Station. After that, we have dinner. So dinner will start to be served at 4 p.m. We'll go to 8 p.m. That team right there is an amazing team. They do all the food at Ride Weekend. Not only are they able to produce high quality, but really ample amount for everybody too that will get you fueled up. We've listened to a lot of feedback over the last couple of years and have made sure it's food that you guys want to eat the night before your ride too. So really awesome food. Again, your ticket will get you access to that. We will also have a lot of adult beverages, but a lot of non-adult beverages too, to make sure if you're riding, especially long distance on Saturday, if you have a beer, make sure you have a water with every beer. You guys are adults, you know how to hydrate properly, but just make sure you're hydrating there too. One of our favorite things is the Why I Ride board that you'll see. Make sure you stop by, check out all the names, add your own names to this. It's such an incredible highlight and a great reminder of why we're riding. For those that are currently battling, have survived their own cancer diagnosis, or maybe those that we lost too soon. This is such an incredible thing of opening ceremony. These will also be at the finish lines as well. But one of our favorite pieces that we get to see every single year, followed by one of our other new favorite pieces, the Survivor Bell. So if you are a survivor, if someone coming with you is a survivor, make sure they stop and ring the Survivor Bell. You will hear that ringing throughout all of opening ceremony at the finish lines as well. It's a really, really incredible feature of opening ceremony and a great way to celebrate, again, why we're riding. That's why we're here. Visit our partners in the Vendor Expo. We have, I don't even know how many, 20 to 25 vendors that will be joining us. They provide some really great things, a lot of freebies. I know one I always see is Farbabite gummies going around, just getting your vitamins in. That's always a really fan favorite one. So check out our Vendor Expo. The earlier you get there, the more product probably available for you, but an awesome experience at opening ceremony too. We'll have team photos. If you are on a team, lean on your captain. They'll probably have picked a time for you all to join, but you'll just see some open photo times there from 4 to 6. If you are a high roller, a 10-year participant, 15-year participant, or a survivor, definitely would love to have you come join us for these special group photos too. Those will take place at 6:05, 6:10, or 6:15, and this will be right behind the stage, so we can get you up in front and ready for the program and the performance. I just mentioned the program that will start at 6:30 p.m. This will highlight members of the Pelotonia team, members of the James, and really highlight, again, why we're riding, some inspirational stories, followed by an amazing live performance from Andrew McMahon at 7 p.m. If you don't know Andrew, he was a resident of Columbus growing up out of the Bexley community, but he actually is a cancer survivor himself, and he and his team have an amazing performance plan to help celebrate everyone's journey with cancer, and it's going to be really, really special. His team's so excited to be back in Columbus and to be performing, and it will be an amazing kickoff to the weekend. That will wrap up at 8 p.m. and we'll get you guys home, rested and ready to go for your Ride Weekend route, whether that's on Saturday or Sunday. And with that, a great segue. I'll hand it over to Lauren, who will talk about ride starts.
Awesome. So yes, you have had a great time on Friday and we're ready to ride on Saturday or Sunday. So Similar to the past several years, we'll have a couple different start locations on each day. Majority of our rides on Saturday will start at North Bank Park and McPherson Commons. So you can see here our 17 mile, our 23 mile, our 46 mile, and our 100 mile routes will all start there. And then our 66 mile route will start at our alternate location at New Albany Schools. Sunday we'll have starts coming out of Kenyon College as well as New Albany Schools. Both of those operating that day. What can you expect when you get to your start location? Carolyn mentioned the awesome food that we have on Friday. That continues throughout the weekend. So there will be a full breakfast available at every start. So be sure you get there in time to enjoy that before you ride. We'll have bike shops on site if you need any last minute tune-ups, need some air in your tires, all those kind of things. We have awesome partners across Central Ohio who come out and help make sure everybody's ready to jump on their bike and get on the road that morning. Start line staging info. So this really just applies to the McPherson Commons start. We'll talk about what that kind of means, I think, on the next slide. So we'll come back to that. And then you hit the road and the ride begins. And the fun part begins, we should say. So McPherson Commons, this obviously is the biggest group of people starting in one place. And so this is really segmented out into several start waves. So Carolyn talked a little bit about the credential packet that you'll get when you pick that up on Friday. It will be one of these very distinct colors, and that color corresponds with the start wave you've been assigned. All start waves are assigned based on two things. One, your distance, which is most important, and then also your Peloton affiliation. So you will be assigned a start wave with any riders from your team who are riding the same distance. And the distance piece is very important because all of our route support is kind of based around the timing of these start waves. And so if you are riding 100 miles, we can't let you start with a 46 mile wave, vice versa. You have to start kind of within the waves of your distance. If you want to change your wave, we always invite you to start a little bit later within another wave of your distance. So if I'm in the light blue group and Carolyn's in the orange group and we really want to ride together, I can drop back to that orange group. Carolyn cannot jump up to the light blue group. So just something to keep in mind if you're riding with friends that maybe aren't on your Peloton that you wouldn't naturally be kind of assigned with, you can always drop back as long as it's a wave of the same distance that you're riding. So all of this will be communicated on your credentials. You'll also get an email about a week out that clarifies your start time if you are riding a distance that has multiple start waves. So you can see here one change this year, all 100 mile riders are going out together at 6:45. We've got 3 waves for 46 milers, 3 for 23 milers, and then 2 waves for our 17 milers. At McPherson, we've got these 2 holding areas. So they're timed about 30 minutes and 15 minutes before your start wave. You'll have access to these areas. You can kind of see on that last slide that photo showed, we'll have these giant video screens that are showing you exactly where you can be at any given time. So pay attention to those. There's tons of volunteers around willing to help and get you in the right place if you aren't sure where you're supposed to be or if it's your time to get into the holding area. A few other reminders, obviously arrive early. There's a lot going on. There's a lot of riders. So arrive early so that you don't feel stressed that morning. You're able to enjoy breakfast. You're able to get your bike tuned up, enjoy all those things at the start line. It's also just really fun atmosphere. Everybody's excited. The energy is palpable. So come early and enjoy it with us. I mentioned this before, make sure you have your helmet with you. We cannot let anyone hit the road without a helmet. So be sure you've got that. Carolyn will remind you before you come through the start truss that it's on your head and buckled, so make sure you've got that ready to go. Based on our staffing and our route support, we will not be able to let riders start later than our start waves are scheduled. So keep that in mind. Again, just speaks to the importance of arriving early and giving yourself plenty of time. And then just know the beginning of the routes can be crowded. Just be patient in that first couple miles. It's a lot of people starting at once, but once you get a few miles in, it really spreads out and is a lot of fun, gives you a little more space to maneuver. So just stay patient those first few miles and it'll spread out. So then you're on the road. So what happens then? A few things to highlight. So I've mentioned a few times, but our rest stops are awesome. We have incredible volunteers who run all of our rest stops. Every single rest stop will be stocked with tons of snacks, most notably the the famous Pelotonia PB&Js that are handmade with love by our volunteers on site. So be sure to fuel up with those. We'll have several different hydration products available at each rest stop, so hopefully something to fit everyone's needs. Again, I'll just say the reminder here that if there's something very specific, a specific flavor you want or product you want that you've been training with, be sure to bring that with you. We have lots of options, but probably not every single one that you all have been using. Mechanical support will be available at every rest stop, so if you have an issue along the way, if you need a little more air in your tires at the rest stops, they'll be there to help with that, as well as first aid. So we have an incredible crew of first aid medical volunteers with us throughout the weekend, and they'll be available at every rest stop to assist as well. Other route support along the way. You can see here in this photo some of, I keep saying our incredible volunteers because they're all amazing and we're so lucky to have the best volunteers. Our SAG crew is no exception. So we have these vehicles, you'll see them marked exactly like you see here with big Pelotonia stickers. Our SAG volunteers will be in orange shirts. They'll be patrolling the route all day to help with mechanical, to help with medical, to help get you someplace. If you maybe you're broken down on the side of the road and they can't get you up and running, they'll get you to the next rest stop. So those mechanics they're really there for support across the route. So always a great resource. If you need them, again, that command phone line, that will be on your rider wristband. You can call in there and request that support at any time. Very similarly, we have a motorcycle crew. This is another very dedicated and incredible group of volunteers that is out there on their motorcycles. They are able to help with a lot of the same things, really minor medical issues. If you need a Band-Aid, they'll stop and help you. If you have a mechanical issue with your bike, they can help with a lot of that kind of stuff as well. So you'll see them out there. They also will have big Pelotonia stickers on their bikes and be very easily distinguishable. And then last but not least, of course, we've talked about this a few times, but the command center phone line, I would recommend even this number, go ahead and put it in your phone now. You'll have it on your wristband so that it's right in front of you if you need it, but always feel free to call or text that number. That all comes directly to our command center and can be addressed from there. Really quickly, just want to touch on weather conditions. So we do, this is always a little bit surprising to some people, we actually have a meteorology team that sits in our command center and is watching the weather throughout the entire weekend for us. And so we are constantly watching for not only obviously the summer pop-up shower or thunderstorm, we're looking at the heat right now. That's been a thing all summer. We're monitoring air quality. So all those things are being watched really closely. In a perfect world, we're flying a green flag all weekend and weather's great. We could still fly a green flag even if there's a little bit of rain, if it doesn't really pose an issue for anybody. But you'll see these flags both at rest stops as well as on SAG vehicles. So green flag, you're good to go. If we change to a yellow flag, it just means maybe there's an excessive heat warning, there may be some heavier rain, there may be some things that are just good to proceed with a little bit of caution. It's nothing that is a level of dangerous or anything that we would pull anyone off the route or stop any of our events, but just good to proceed with caution and be aware of those things. And the red flag is when we get to a situation where we don't want riders to continue. And so there's lots of plans in place as far as how we will get riders to safety if needed. There's shelter-in-place locations at all of our rest stops and our venues. But if you see that red flag, know that it means we are holding riders, we are sheltering in place. Most commonly, this happens because of a thunderstorm, pop-up thunderstorm, which we all know happens a lot in August in Ohio. So all good things, just visual reminders along the way to be reminded of and watch out for. And then just a few route call outs for everyone to be aware of. So we are a ride, not a race. We don't time everybody. We don't expect any of that. But there are a few things in place just for the safety of everyone. And so we do have route closure times. And on Saturday, that's 6:00 p.m. And on Sunday, that's 2:00 p.m. And really these times have been kind of calculated knowing what is safe for someone to be out on the road. So looking at pace and looking at how long you would be out there riding, these are all kind of formulated with that in mind. And so if you are someone who may be falling behind the pace that may be required to meet those route cutoffs, we start really looking at this early on in the route. And there may be an opportunity for us to just move you up a few miles so that you can get back on pace and continue your ride. We will never pull anyone completely off the route. We will come up with solutions to let you finish and maybe just cut a few miles out of the middle. But we really want to call that out because it is obviously out there for everyone's safety. We don't have strict pace requirements, but it's a really important piece of what we do to keep everybody safe. And then the second piece of this, with the new 17-mile loop route, this does have a pace requirement, but it is 5 miles an hour. And so just something to keep in mind, everyone should be able, to really keep this pace. It does have to include your rest stop time. So if you're stopping for an hour at the rest stop, that's probably going to put you off your 5 mile per hour pace. But because of this loop route really being centric to downtown Columbus, there's just some parameters we have to stay in as far as how long we can keep roads closed and all those kind of things. So keep that in mind if you're on the 17-mile route as well. And with that, I'll toss it back to Carolyn to talk about how you celebrate at the end.
Told you guys, all about the partying over here. All right, the finish line celebration and overnight stays for those that might be in a 2-day overnight rider with us. So here you can see all the finish line locations for the year. On Saturday, we have 4 this year, which is a little bit new for us. Lauren just mentioned the 17-mile route that finishes back at McPherson Commons. You will actually come down the road that you left on and kind of flip the starting line to the finish line there. New Albany schools will be the 23-mile finish, Abercrombie and Fitch the 46, and Kenyon the 66 and 100-mile finish. And then Sunday, all of our riders riding on Sunday will finish at New Albany schools and will be at that location again. You can see here kind of what happens at the finish line celebrations. So we have bike, trucks, and shuttles. So all riders are able to utilize a shuttle from their finish line location as long as, again, point-to-point location. If you're finishing at the same place, no need to worry about those logistics. You can use our shuttles for yourself or your bike. If you have loved ones, which they are encouraged, loved ones are able to join you at the finish line, no ticket needed. Invite them to come enjoy all these amenities with you. They are able, if they're going to pick you up and take you off, you're able to just use the bike shuttle, even if you're not using the shuttle for yourself. So if you are planning on using the bike shuttle, make sure the first thing you do when you get to the finish line is take your bike to the volunteers to make sure your bike will get on the truck. Trucks will leave once they're full, so that just makes sure it gets back downtown or back to your starting location as quickly as possible. Food and beverage, again, we like to keep you guys well fed. We always joke at our office, you typically gain weight from Ride Weekend instead of losing weight, which is not normal for kind of more athletic events of the nature that Ride Weekend is. So lots of really great food, lots of great desserts. I got a preview, again, I'm not gonna share, but it sounds really delicious. And again, lots of really great beverages to be had as well. There are showers at the finish line locations except for the 17. 17 is the only one without a shower, but all other locations, if you do plan to use a shower, make sure you put needed supplies in your luggage and make sure you drop off that luggage with us the morning of your ride, so it's there for you at the finish line. And then hang out, cheer on your fellow riders. There's spirit stations, there's places to take photos. Really just a fun time to celebrate with not only your loved ones but your team members as well. Some other amenities include the OSU James will have awesome tents everywhere. I mentioned merchandise as well. Again, sweet treats. Lauren mentioned the ADA accessibility things that will also be at all finish lines as well. Overnight riders. So if you are someone who's joining us for the 131 or the 165, first and foremost, kudos. So if you're getting a lot of training right now, despite this heat, a couple things to note for you. One being you should have received an overnight rider survey. If you didn't get this for some reason, or if you didn't fill it out in time, don't worry. We'll make sure we have a room available for you in the dorms at Kenyon College. When you finish, you'll be able to check in with us inside the athletic center. We'll get you the key and your room assigned to you directly. We'll have shuttles. Don't worry, you don't have to walk around the hills of Kenyon too much. We'll have shuttles that will take you to and from the finish line. And then you'll return your key at the start of your ride on Sunday. So make sure you bring that from the dorm with you. Bring it to breakfast, turn that in before you head out for your Sunday ride. And then a couple pro tips. I'm going to try to quickly run, Spectator information. I'm skipping ahead. again, I mentioned spectators. Would love to have them cheering you out and joining us for Ride Weekend. Just a couple do's and don'ts. One, to make sure they're only coming to starts and finishes. Spectators are not allowed at rest stops. We do not allow vehicle traffic in and out of the rest stops. If you guys have seen Ride Weekend before, you know exactly why. So just encourage them to join you at the start or join you at the finish line. And then we have a couple places that I'll share along the route that are really safe and great options for them to cheer you on. Encourage them to review the routes and avoid driving on them at all cost. We want to eliminate as much vehicle traffic as possible. So don't have them try to meet you along the route. Obviously, if there's an emergency, call SAG. Those are the best cars and vehicles to come help and support you. Have them download that Pelotonia Tracker app that I'll talk about in a minute to follow your progress and to know when exactly you might be at the finish line to help you and help them make sure that they get to see across that finish line. And then check out our Spectator page. Lots of great information on where to park for your specific finish line too, and highly encourage that, sharing that with anyone that might be joining you. We mentioned the Pelotonia Tracker a couple times. This app, again, nothing for you to do as a rider. As long as you make sure your bike plate's working and on correctly, this should work for everybody. But this will allow loved ones to see your progress throughout the course. It is not live. It will scan when you leave, as well as when you leave rest stops, and then a couple markers as you head into that finish line to give everybody a really rough estimate of when you be finishing when you be crossing the finish line exactly. If you want to see friends and family's progress in your riding, feel free to download it. A great app to kind of track people too. And then bike transport tracker. So if you are using our bike transport, you do want to download this. It will scan automatically. Again, nothing for you to do, but it will give you a notification when your bike has been put on the shuttle. The shuttle has left your finish line, and then when the bike has made it back downtown. This will hopefully help you just have a better understanding of when your bike will be ready for pickup. As Lauren mentioned, we have over 8,000 riders. There are a lot of riders that use this. So this can kind of be a little bit delayed depending on when exactly your bike is put on a shuttle. So this tracker will really help you better understand when it's ready so you're not waiting downtown for too long at all. And then I mentioned spectator locations. There are two great options right here. The Broad Street location, you can see what routes are available. The 17, 23, 46, and 100-mile riders will all pass this. And then downtown Granville on Saturday, the 66 and 100-mile route as well. Again, if they do want to go out on the course and kind of meet you along the way to cheer on, just make sure they're looking at the route to avoid any kind of area. Try to find a parking lot that's on the way so it's really safe as possible. And then the pro tips I mentioned, again, I'm going to try to run through this really quickly so you have plenty of time. I see a lot of great questions in there. Especially if this is your first time, here are some really helpful tips that we've taken from the community over the years to make Ride Weekend be really an awesome experience for you. And we mentioned this a handful of times as well. Ride Weekend is really a celebration of our fundraising efforts for cancer research, and these are some great things that kind of help you throughout that experience too to help boost your fundraising efforts. That first, share your experience. I'll share a little bit more about that in a couple slides. Connect with fellow riders. We've heard from so many people that have made really long-lasting friendships because they met somebody out on their course. And there's so many inspiring stories throughout the community. We wish we knew every single one, but as you're riding, it's a great opportunity to see why people are riding and see their experience. And then take your time. I actually don't know if we mentioned this the entire presentation, but this is a ride. It is not a race. We're not tracking you for time. Spoiler, everybody gets a medal at the finish. So please take your time, enjoy it. We hear from so many people, especially if it's your first time, how quickly it goes. It really, really will go really quickly on Saturday or Sunday. So take your time enjoying it. You've been training hard, you've been fundraising hard. So don't try to go too fast. The people that win Pelotonia, they usually have to wait for their finish line beer. So make sure you just take your time and enjoy that. So some fundraising. Ride Weekend is a huge opportunity to help you in your fundraising efforts. And these are some key areas that you can share some updates with your loved ones. We mentioned, please don't use your phone while you're riding. So this is kind of built out in safety in mind, but also just some great reminders of where you can send updates to your friends and family, whether that's via social media, maybe it's text message, maybe it's email, and kind of sharing this to help you boost your fundraising efforts. Share at the start line who you're riding for, reminder of how many miles you're riding, what's your fundraising commitment, and how close you are to that. Share at the rest stops kind of what your experience has been so far, maybe stories you've heard, or just a quick update that you're X amount of miles in. Share a finish line photo. You can share immediately with photos on your phone. After ride weekend, we will share finish line photos with all riders as well. That RFID tag will scan and know when your finish line photo is taken, and then you'll be able to easily search for your photo, and that's an awesome picture to share too. So make sure you're smiling when you cross that finish line as well. And then recap your experience. This might be immediately, this might be in the weeks to follow. Fundraising continues until October 15th, so plenty of time to share what your experience was, how your fundraising is going after ride weekend, leading into that October 15th deadline as well. Lauren mentioned these additional resources. I've seen it kind of pop up a couple of times. We'll share this slide deck out as well as the recording of the presentation. So you guys will have direct links to everything that is up there. And then next week, all riders will receive an email with their specific route details. This will include your confirmed start time, as well as really helpful details and a link directly to your route page with all the information you need from the start to finish for the specific route that you registered for. So please make sure you check that out, have it handy. I like to bookmark it going into ride weekend, so I have the information ready should I have questions while I'm on site. But super helpful resources that we'll share out after this as well. All right, awesome. With that, we're going to jump into the Q&A and get started answering some of these great questions that we've seen come through. Let me try. Oh, there we go. I'm going to scroll up, I think, to the bottom is where they are coming in first for us. We'll just start from the top and run through that. So if somebody didn't make it to the finish, would they not get a medal? One, we hope you do make it to the finish. If you have any issues, again, SAG would be who you want to call. Reach out to our team. We have plenty of extra medals that we can make sure we get to you after ride weekend. Lockers for personal bags. Do you want to touch on that one?
Yes, so there are no lockers on site, but to Carolyn's point, kind of when she was talking about our luggage system, if you drop a bag at your start to be transported to your finish, volunteers will be overseeing those areas, so they'll be there for you to pick up without needing a locker. Hopefully that answers that question.
Yeah, a question specific to locations for family and friends to come watch and cheer. I think that came in before we talked through the Spectator information, so hopefully that helped answer it. Again, there's a handful of locations that we have available. Oh, great question. Salt and pepper on our food. Should we bring our own seasonings? That's the first time we've gotten that. I believe we have seasoning and things available.
But again, if you like something specific, feel free to bring it with you.
If you are trying to reserve a bike through Unlimited, you would want to reach out directly to their sales team, and they'll be able to help assist you. On their website, they should have a direct email or phone number that you can call. If you continue to have any issues, feel free to email our team.
Wristband for a non-rider friend to eat with you at the finish. That's a great question. We invite all of your guests to join us. So yes, that will be available at the finish for your guests to join you in that celebration as well.
A question about reusing the overnight corrals for your bike. One thing that I forgot to mention during that is that the bike corral is completely secure. We have security with us overnight, starting on Thursday of ride weekend, to make sure that all of our equipment and everyone's supplies are safe and not going to be touched at all. If you have any concerns still with your bike, depending on I know a lot of people really love their bike, so we've, knock on wood, never had any issues, but you are not by any means required to utilize the overnight bike corral. You are welcome to bring that with you Saturday or Sunday, depending on when you're riding. And again, the bike corral overnight is only available for people starting from McPherson Commons. If you are starting at New Albany schools, you'll have to transport your bike with yourself.
Guest tickets at opening ceremony. This is a great question. So you will receive that one guest wristband on your credential sheet. That is for opening ceremony. So you can hand that off to your guest. If you want to bring the family, we will have guest tickets available only for guests of riders at the gate. So you'll be able to purchase additional tickets if you want to bring your spouse and a couple kids. Please do that, and those tickets will be available at the gate. But just keep in mind that's only for guests of riders. We do not have any public ticket sales.
A question about spouses doing different routes. We do not have a way to transport bikes from their start line to a different finish line. So logistically, she would need to coordinate getting her bike up to Gambier to meet you at that finish line. Rest stops do have bathrooms.
Yes.
Great question.
Yes.
We will have those available.
Arrive on Thursday. Where and when is my first stop on Friday for opening day? So we recommend anytime after 11:30, first stop being that rider check-in tent at opening ceremony in McPherson Commons. That's where you will get your credential packet and pick up all of that, get all that information that you need. So again, anytime after 11:30, keeping in mind that the actual gates to the celebration don't open until 4, and that's when food and beverage will be available.
Awesome. Adjusting your shirt size, and are the shirt sizes always in men? So you are able to adjust your shirt size or your jersey size on your participant profile. You'll just want to log in and go to edit account, and you can see the shirt size that you initially selected during registration and adjust as needed. The shirts for Ride Weekend Rider gift bags are unisex, so probably tend to be a little bit baggier for women, so just keep that in mind when selecting. Jerseys, you're welcome to select men's sizing or women's sizing. On the flip side, I know a lot of women tend to select men's sizes because they don't kind of cinch in so much on the waist when they already run a little bit tight. So great questions there. You're able to adjust on the participant profile. Again, any issues at all, reach out to our team and we can help with that. A question about bringing a bike lock for using the corral. Hopefully a previous answer helped answer that. Again, fully secure for the weekend.
Any way to transport a bike Saturday morning to New Albany for doing the 66-mile route? We do not have a system for that. So the bike corral at McPherson, to echo Carolyn's point earlier, is just for riders who are starting at McPherson Commons. We do rely on riders to bring their own bikes if you're starting at New Albany on either day.
Will similar perks happen during Gravel Day experience that will take place in October? Yes, we will have rider gift bags, credentials, merch. We'll have different merch available for that event. So lots more to come on that in the coming weeks as well.
Okay, we touched on guest tickets. We'll send out a recording. There's lots flowing in, so we're
a question about changing registration. So this one specifically is I registered to ride 23 mile on Saturday, and some of my friends are Sunday 46. We actually don't have a Sunday 46. We only have a 27 on Sunday. We are able to switch routes around. One thing that is new this year that we implemented, again, just with rider safety top of mind, is that routes do have capacity. So we have wait lists going for any route that has hit or may potentially hit capacity. So if you're looking for a route that is at capacity, feel free to reach out to our team and we will try our best to accommodate as best as we can while making sure that routes are not oversold for the year.
How about volunteers? Can volunteers and guests attend the opening ceremony? The opening ceremony is only open to riders as well as volunteers and challengers who have raised the rider minimum $1,250. So if you're a volunteer and you've reached that rider fundraising commitment, you will receive tickets to opening ceremony.
Great question about leaving a car in Gambier the night before the ride for a way home. Yes, you are able for any finish line, probably except for downtown Columbus, be able to leave a car at the finish line if that helps you logistically. In the route email that I mentioned will go out next week, all of those route pages will detail where to specifically park if you plan to do that. That way you're avoiding any potential venue structures. We avoid cars being towed. So pay attention to those details. That will be in your route email next week, in the route pages that just help you, again, you know best where to park the night before. Great question on fundraising commitment. I mentioned the fundraising deadline is October 15th. You have until then. So you do not have to have it met by Ride Day. Again, Ride Weekend's an awesome opportunity to help you in your fundraising. A question about Workday. I think that's specific to your company. So anything team related or company related, please reach out directly to your team so we don't misspeak on that. Great question. If you are renting a bike, do you need to bring a helmet? No. If you are renting a bike through Unlimited Biking, they will also have a helmet for you available and ready to go.
When will we receive specific start times? So that will go out in that email next week. You should receive that in your email specifically for your start time. Can you bring a camelback for water? Absolutely. Feel free. Because of the heat, are you thinking of adding extra stops? We will not add extra stops, but we do have a very robust heat mitigation plan. All of our rest stops will have cooling zones. All of our rest stops will have ice and cooling towels available to riders. So lots of things will be available to help with the heat mitigation.
A question about connecting with riders who did specific distance beforehand. Feel free to reach out to our team, and we can try to help connect the dots as best as possible leading into Ride Weekend.
How much the extra guest tickets are for opening ceremony? Great question. So adults are $25, children 6 to 12 are $15, and 5 and under are free.
A question about morning of logistics. So if you're starting from downtown Columbus, a couple of options for you, depending on where you live and depending on ease of logistics for you. Some people have someone drop them off at the start line and then that person meets them at the finish line and is their ride home. Some people will leave their car in the garage and pick that up later after their finish line. Some people even Uber downtown. So truly up to you what works best for you morning of and kind of what is available from you from a logistics standpoint. A bike corral open Thursday night. It is not open Thursday night. The bike corral will only open on Friday. It opens Friday at 11:30 a.m. and you must first check in. It is open until 8:30 on Saturday and
4 o'clock on Sunday.
Thank you, Lauren. 4 o'clock on Sunday. So all bikes need to be picked up by 4 p.m. on Sunday. You don't necessarily have to pick it up Saturday, but please pick it up by 4 p.m. on Sunday. A question about a rental bike at the start line of the 66. Yes, that will be available for you at that start line. More information to come specific to how you would check in. Another question about helmets. So glad everyone is thinking about this. Helmets are not provided unless you're renting a bike. So if you're bringing your own bike, you must provide your own helmet. Answered that. Flat tire.
What if we get a flat tire? So mentioned a few different resources here. The best thing if you are riding along and your tire goes flat and you're on the route someplace is to call that command phone line, and they'll be able to get you in the queue to get a SAG vehicle or a moto out to you to help fix that and get you back on the road.
Question about joining a team. It is not too late to join a team. If you need help joining one or finding the right home for you, again, reach out to Pelotonia at pelotonia.org and we can find one for you. And then a question about a multi-tool allowed while flying. I would recommend checking out TSA's website. I don't truly know. I don't know what's allowed anymore.
Question.
So I would definitely encourage you to check out their website before flying.
Places offering discounts for bike needs in the area. So yes, if on our website, I actually think this is linked on the final slide of this presentation that we'll share, what we call rider perks. There are several bike shops locally that we work with that we recommend and then are offering discounts. So we will be sure to do that. You can also just search rider perks on our website and that should pop right up for you.
Awesome. And then last two final questions, and then we'll wrap it up. If we didn't get to your question, please email us and we'll help assist as best as we can. The first being how many rest stops are on the 23-mile route. There is one. Those details as well can be confirmed on the route maps as well as the route emails that will go out for all routes available this year. And then overnight stays, you will check in at the Kenyon Athletic Center. There'll be lots of signage to help direct you where you need to go on Saturday after your route. I know you might be a little tired after 66 or 100 miles, so we try our best to direct you guys as best as we can. But again, we are coming up on time. Thank you all for the past hour. Thank you for joining us. We are so excited. It's really hard to believe that opening ceremony is just 2 weeks away, but we can't wait to get the weekend and the celebrations kicked off with everybody. We will send this presentation out as well as a recording. And again, if we weren't able to get to your question, please email Pelotonia at pelotonia.org and someone from our team will respond and get you guys the answer that you need. Thanks so much, everyone.
Thank you.